The sky was dark when the ship came down. It had been flying for weeks, months maybe, through deep space. Its name was the Starhawk, a small exploration vessel built for long missions far from Earth. Inside, 5 people sat strapped into their seats watching the control panels flash red warnings. They were not supposed to crash. The mission had started out normal. The Starhawk had been sent to explore an uncharted exoplanet called Terra Gigas. Scientists back on Earth had found signs that the planet might be able to support life. It was huge, much bigger than Earth, and orbited a quiet star in a distant system. But something went wrong. A storm hit the ship while they were entering the planet's atmosphere. Not a normal storm, something worse. Lightning struck one of the engines, then another. The ship began to fall. Liam Carter, the pilot, tried to keep control. Sweat ran down his face. His fingers flew over the controls. "We're losing altitude fast," he shouted. Maggie Doyle, the botanist, gripped her seat. Her eyes were wide. She wasn't used to danger. She had spent most of her life in labs, studying plants not crashing through alien skies. Karen Blake, the mission commander, stayed calm. She looked at the others. "Brace yourselves," she said. "This is going to hurt." The ground came up fast. Trees blurred past the windows. Then came the sound of metal breaking. The ship slammed into the forest below. Everything went black. When Liam opened his eyes, his head hurt. He blinked, trying to focus. The cockpit was broken. Smoke filled the air. Wires hung from the ceiling like vines. He coughed. His body ached. Around him, the others stirred. One by one, they woke up. Karen was the first to move. She pulled herself free from her seat. Blood ran down her forehead, but she didn't stop. "Is everyone okay?" she asked. No one answered right away. Evan Ruiz, the medic, groaned. He had a cut on his arm, but he was moving. "I'll live," he muttered. Raj Patel, the engineer, sat up slowly. His glasses were cracked, but he could still see. "I think my ankle's sprained," he said. Maggie was pale. She looked dizzy. "I'm okay," she whispered. "Just shaken." Liam pushed open the cockpit door. Cold air rushed in. Outside, trees stood tall around them. Leaves rustled in the wind. The ship had crashed into a clearing. Smoke rose from the wreckage. Parts of the hull were torn open. Fuel leaked onto the ground. They were alive. But they were stuck. Karen stepped outside. She looked around. "This isn't good," she said. She was right. The ship was too damaged to fly again. Their comms were down. They had no way to call for help. And they were alone on a strange world. Over the next few hours, they checked what they had left. The Starhawk was broken beyond repair. But some supplies had survived the crash. They found tools, food packs, water containers, and medical kits. Not much, but enough to start. Karen took charge. "We need shelter," she said. "And we need to find clean water. We don't know what's in this planet's air or soil." Liam nodded. He looked tired but determined. "We can use parts of the ship for cover," he said. "Until we build something better." Raj looked at the broken machines around them. "I can try to fix the comms," he said. "But it won't be easy." Maggie walked a few steps away. She stared at the trees. "They're different," she said. "Not like anything I've seen before." Indeed, the plants here were strange. Some had leaves that shimmered in the light. Others pulsed gently, like they were alive in ways plants shouldn't be. Karen noticed the unease in Maggie's voice. "We stay close," she said. "No wandering off alone. We don't know what else is out there." Evan finished wrapping his arm. "I'll take care of injuries," he said. "But we need to watch for infections. Who knows what kind of germs are here." Night was coming. The sun dipped behind the trees. Shadows stretched across the ground. The wind grew colder. Karen lit a small fire near the wreckage. They gathered around it. For the first time since the crash, they talked. "What now?" Maggie asked. Karen looked at each of them. Now, she said, we survive. The days passed slowly. The group worked together to make a base near the shipwreck. They built a shelter using metal sheets and ropes. They dug a pit for the fire. They searched for food and water. It wasn't easy. The gravity on Terra Gigas was heavier than Earth's. Every step felt heavier. Lifting things was harder. Even walking made them tired. At night, they slept in shifts. Someone always watched the fire just in case. One day, Raj found a stream nearby. The water was clear. I tested it, he said. It's safe to drink. That helped. They filled bottles and boiled extra for safety. Maggie studied the local plants. She wore gloves and kept a safe distance. These roots look edible, she said one morning. But I won't eat them until I test them. She set up a small lab using parts from the ship. She mixed samples with chemicals and watched how they reacted. It's slow work, she admitted. But I don't want anyone getting sick. Liam and Karen went scouting. They walked through the forest looking for paths or landmarks. This place is huge, Liam said. Like, really huge. Karen agreed. The trees were taller than any they'd seen. The sky seemed farther away. They found animal tracks in the mud. Someone's out there, Karen said. They didn't find any animals, just signs they existed. Back at camp, Evan treated minor cuts and bruises. He gave everyone shots to prevent infection. You all stink, he joked, but you're healthy, for now. They laughed. It felt good, but not everything was easy. Food was running low. They rationed what they had. The weather changed quickly. One moment it was warm, the next it was cold. Rain came suddenly and lasted for hours. Still, they kept working. They were learning how to live here. Then, trouble came. It started with a noise. Late one night, Evan was on watch. He heard something in the woods, a low growl like an animal. He stood up. Hello? He called. No answer. He grabbed a flashlight and pointed it into the trees. Nothing. Then he saw it, a pair of glowing eyes. They blinked once, then vanished. Evan ran back to the shelter. Something's out there, he said. The others woke up. Karen grabbed a tool from the ship. Stay inside, she said. Don't go out unless you have to. They waited. Outside, the wind howled. Leaves shook in the trees. Hours passed. In the morning, they found claw marks in the dirt near the shelter. Whatever had been watching them was gone now, but it had been close. Karen looked at the marks. We're not alone, she said. By the end of the first month, they had settled into a routine. They built a second shelter. They planted seeds from earth in the soil, hoping they would grow. They learned to avoid certain areas where the air felt wrong. They even named the places around them. There was Clearwater Creek, where they got drinking water. There was Broken Ridge, where the land dropped into a deep valley, and there was Watchman Hill, where they sometimes stood to look out over the forest. They weren't explorers anymore. They were survivors. Karen kept a journal. Each night she wrote what happened during the day. Day 29, she wrote. We're still alive, barely. Food is tight. Morale is okay. We're making progress. She closed the book. Outside, the stars shined above the trees. The planet was huge, but they were still here, and they weren't giving up. The days passed like shadows. The survivors had made a small life on Terra Gigas. They built shelters from the wreckage. They found water. They started to grow food. But the planet was not kind. It was big, bigger than they could imagine. The trees were taller than any back home. The sky felt far away. Even walking 1 mile took hours, and there were things watching them. They didn't know what they were. Just that sometimes at night, eyes would glow from the trees. And something always seemed to be moving just out of sight. Karen kept her team close. We can't take chances, she said one morning. This place doesn't feel safe. Liam looked up at the sky. It's not about feeling safe, he said. It's about staying alive. One day, Maggie went to study the plants near the stream. She wore gloves and carried a small bag of tools. She liked this work. It reminded her of Earth. She knelt by a plant with red leaves. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. Strange, she whispered. She touched it lightly with her glove. The leaf curled toward her finger. What the? She stepped back. Hello? She called. Anyone out here? No answer. She watched the plant for a while longer. Then she wrote notes in her book. Later, when she came back to camp, she told the others. Some of these plants move, she said, like they're alive in a different way. Raj raised an eyebrow. Alive how? He asked. They react to touch, she said. And some even seem to follow me with their leaves. Evan laughed. You sure you didn't just hit your head? Again? Maggie shook her head. I'm serious, she said. This planet is weird. Rain came the next day. It fell hard and fast, soaking everything in minutes. The wind blew so strong it knocked over small trees. The group stayed inside, their shelters. Karen sat by the fire, drying wet clothes. Liam checked his boots. Raj tried to fix the comms again. Maggie read her notes. Evan cleaned wounds on his arm from a cut he got earlier. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. Then came a sound none of them recognized. It was deep. Rumbling, like something big was moving through the forest. They all stopped what they were doing. Did you hear that? Karen asked. Yeah, Liam said, and I don't like it. They waited. The sound grew louder, then silence. After a few minutes, Raj stood up. I'm going out, he said. Karen grabbed his arm. No, she said. Not now. He looked at her. We need to know what's out there, he said. Karen sighed. Fine, she said. But we all go together. So they did. They stepped outside, weapons in hand, makeshift spears, old tools, anything they could, used to defend themselves. The rain had turned the ground into mud. Lightning flashed. For a second, they saw something between the trees. Big dark. Gone before they could get a good look. Karen pointed. Over there, she said. They moved slowly, careful not to make noise. Then they saw it. A creature. It was tall like a bear, but longer. Its skin looked like bark. Eyes glowed green in the dark. It sniffed the air. Then it turned and ran into the trees. They watched it disappear. No one spoke. Finally, Evan broke the silence. Well, he said. That was new. Back at camp, they talked. What was that? Thing? Maggie asked. No idea, Raj said. But it looked like part of the forest. Karen looked worried. We need to be more careful, she said. If that thing lives here, there might be more like it. Liam nodded. We should build better walls, he said. Just in case. They worked the next day. They used pieces of the ship and tied them to wooden posts. They made a fence around their camp. It wasn't perfect, but it helped. They also set traps made from vines and sticks. If something came too close, they'd know. Maggie kept studying plants. She found more that reacted to touch. Some gave off smells. Others changed color. One plant made her dizzy when she got too close. Must have some kind of gas, she said. Could be dangerous. She marked it in her notes. Evan treated small cuts and bruises. But soon, people started getting sick. First, it was Liam. He had a fever and headache. Then Karen. She felt weak and tired. Even Raj got a rash on his hands. It's the planet, Evan said. Something here is making us ill. They checked the water. It was still clean. They checked the food. Still okay. But they didn't feel right. Maggie thought it might be the air. Maybe there are tiny spores we can't see, she said. Floating. In the air. Karen frowned. So what do we do? Maggie shrugged. We wear masks, she said, and hope our bodies get used to it. They made simple masks from cloth and rubber. It helped a little, Still, they felt off. Living on Terra Gigas was harder than they thought. One afternoon, Karen called everyone together. "We need to talk," she said. They sat by the fire. "We've been here for weeks," she said. "And we're surviving, barely. But we can't keep living like this forever." Liam looked at her. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying we need a plan," she said. "We need to explore further, find better shelter, maybe even find a way to call for help." Raj rubbed his chin. "I've been trying to fix the comms," he said. "But without power, it's hard." Karen nodded. "Then we find power," she said. "Or build it." Maggie looked nervous. "Are you saying we should leave camp?" Karen met her eyes. "Yes," she said. "Just a little. We need to learn more about this place." There was silence. Then Liam spoke. "I'll go," he said. "I'll help scout." "Ahead." Evan groaned. "Great," he said. More walking in the mud. Karen smiled. "Thank you," she said. The next morning, Liam and Karen left camp. They walked slowly through the forest. The gravity made every step heavy. Sweat ran down their backs. They followed a path they had seen before. It led uphill. After hours of walking, they reached the top of a hill. They looked out. The view was amazing. Forest stretched in every direction. Mist floated above the trees. In the distance, they saw mountains that looked like they touched the sky. Karen pointed. "Look," she said. Far below there was something strange, a line of light. Not natural. "Is that metal?" Liam asked. Karen squinted. "Might be," she said. "Looks like something crashed a long time ago." They looked at each other. "A wreck?" Liam asked. Karen nodded. "Could be old tech," she said. "Maybe even alien." Liam grinned. "Worth checking out." They returned to camp later that day. Everyone was waiting. "We found something," Karen said. She told them about the light in the valley. Raj leaned forward. "If it's metal," he said, "it might have parts we can use." Maggie looked unsure. "But it's far," she said. "And we don't know what else is down there." Karen crossed her arms. "We need to try," she said. "We can't stay here forever." Evan sighed. "Fine," he said. "But I'm bringing my biggest stick." They all laughed. For a moment things felt normal. But the planet was still huge, and they were still alone. But they were learning how to live, learning how to survive. The group had been on Terra Gigas for over 2 months now. They were still alive. That was the good news. The bad news was that they were running out of food. The supplies from the ship were nearly gone. They had eaten most of the dried meals, protein bars and water packs. What was left would not last much longer. Karen sat by the fire one night looking at their food stock. "This isn't going to be enough," she said. Liam nodded. "We need to find other sources," he said. "We can't wait for rescue forever." Maggie looked up from her notes. "I've been working on that," she said. "I think some of the local plants might be edible." Raj raised an eyebrow. "You mean the ones that glow or move?" he asked. Maggie smiled. "Well, some of them," she said. "But I've tested a few. Some are safe. Others are dangerous." Evan leaned forward. "So what are we eating?" he asked. Maggie pointed to a small pile of roots and leaves. "These," she said. "They're rich in nutrients. I've boiled them. So far, no one got sick." Karen looked at the food. "Then we start adding these to our diet," she said. "But slowly. We don't want anyone getting ill." It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. They needed more than just food. They needed shelter, tools, protection, and they needed to build something real, something that could last. The next morning, work began. Liam and Karen led the effort to expand their camp. They used parts of the crashed ship to build better walls around their shelters. They tied metal sheets to wooden posts and made a stronger fence. Raj worked on tools. He found old wires, broken machines, and pieces of metal. He built a simple pulley system to lift heavy things. He also fixed a hand crank generator they had, found in the wreckage. "It's not much," he said, "but it gives us a little power." With the generator, they powered a small light at night and kept a radio running, even though it still couldn't send signals. Maggie started planting seeds. She dug small beds near the stream and planted earth crops like beans, tomatoes, and lettuce. She mixed native soil with crushed leaves and watered them daily. Some died, but others grew. One day she ran back to camp excited. "It's working," she shouted. "Some of the plants are growing." Everyone came to see. Tiny green shoots pushed. Through the dirt, hope grew with them. Evan took charge of health and safety. He taught everyone how to clean wounds and use the medical kit properly. He also made masks from cloth and rubber to protect against spores in the air. "We don't know what's in this planet's air," he said. "So better safe than sorry." He watched for signs of sickness. When someone had a fever or pain, he treated them quickly. He also made sure everyone stayed strong. "You all stink," he joked one day. "But you're healthy, for now." They laughed. It felt good to laugh. Karen kept writing in her journal every night. "Day 68, she wrote. "We're starting to build something real. Food is still low, but Maggie's plants are growing. Raj has made tools. Liam and I are working on better shelter. Evan keeps us healthy. We're learning how to live here." She closed the book. Outside, the wind blew gently through the trees. They were no longer just survivors. They were builders. They were making a life. Then came the storm. It started with dark clouds rolling in from the east. The sky turned gray. The wind picked up. Leaves flew through the air. Raj looked at the sky. "This doesn't look good," he said. Karen stood outside watching the horizon. "We need to secure everything," she said. They worked fast. They tied down the shelters. They moved tools and food inside. They checked the fence. By nightfall, the storm hit. Rain fell hard and fast. Thunder shook the ground. Lightning lit up the sky. Wind howled through the trees. The group huddled together in the main shelter. Branches snapped outside. Water poured under the door. Then came a loud crash. Something hit the fence. They all jumped. Liam grabbed a tool. "I'll check," he said. Karen stopped him. "No," she said. "It's too dangerous tonight." So they waited. The storm lasted all night. In the morning, they stepped outside. The damage was worse than they expected. The fence was broken in 2 places. Trees had fallen. Their garden was flooded. Worst of all, the generator was gone. Raj stared at the empty spot where he had placed it. "My generator," he whispered. Karen put a hand on his shoulder. "We'll rebuild," she said. He nodded. "I know," he said. "But this is going to take time." Over the next week, they cleaned up the mess. They replanted what they could. They rebuilt the fence. They searched for the lost generator. They found it half buried in mud near the edge of the forest. Raj worked for hours fixing it. "It's okay," he finally said. "Just needs some drying out." They were tired, but they kept going. They knew now. They could not stop. Not ever. One afternoon, Karen called everyone together. "We've come a long way," she said. "But we need to do more." Liam looked at her. "What are you thinking?" Karen took a deep breath. "We need to explore further," she said. "We need to learn more about this planet. Maybe there's help. Maybe there's a way off." Raj frowned. "You mean go deeper into the forest?" he asked. Karen nodded. "Yes," she said. "And maybe even find that wreck we saw on the hill." Maggie looked nervous. "That's far," she said. "And we don't know what's out there." Karen met her eyes. "I know," she said. "But we have to try." There was silence. Then Evan spoke. "I'm in," he said. "But only if we bring snacks." They all laughed. Even in the hardest times, they found ways to keep hope alive. That night, they planned their trip. They packed food, water, and tools. They brought maps drawn by hand. They each carried something useful. Liam a spear, Karen a notebook, Raj a toolkit, Maggie plant samples and Evan first aid. They left early the next morning. The forest stretched before them, big, unknown, full of danger, and full of answers. They walked, step by step, together. They walked for days. The forest stretched out like an endless sea of green. Trees towered above them, taller than any they had seen before. Vines hung from the branches like curtains. The air smelled thick and wet. Karen led the way. She kept, her eyes on the map they had drawn by hand. Behind her were Liam, Raj, Maggie, and Evan. They were heading to the place they saw from the hill, a line of light deep in the valley. They thought it might be a wreck, maybe even alien tech. Truth was, they didn't know what they would find. But they needed answers, and they needed help. By the third day, they began to see changes in the land. The trees became thinner. The ground turned rocky. Strange rocks jutted out like broken bones. Maggie stopped to look at one. "This isn't natural," she said. "This looks carved." Raj knelt beside her. "You're right," he said. "Someone, or something, made this." They moved forward with more caution. That night they camped near a wall of stone. It looked like part of a building. Karen sat by the fire looking at her notes. "I think we're close," she said. "This place feels old, like no one's been here in a long time." Liam leaned against a rock. "Well," he said, "let's hope whatever used to live here left something useful behind." Evan groaned. "As long as it doesn't try to kill us when we find it," he said. They all laughed, but there was worry in their eyes. They were stepping into the unknown. The next morning they found the ruins. They stood tall among the jungle, half buried in vines and dirt. Pillars reached up like fingers. Metal walls gleamed through the moss. It was not earth-made. Karen stepped closer. "This is real," she whispered. Raj touched the metal. "It's still solid," he said. "Whatever built this knew what they were doing." Maggie looked around. "There, are plants growing near these walls?" she said. "Some of them are new species." She took samples, careful not to touch anything strange. Liam stayed alert. "We should keep moving," he said. "We don't know if anyone or anything is watching." Karen nodded. "Stick together," she said. "No one goes off alone." They entered through a broken archway. Inside, it was dark. Dust floated in the air. Strange symbols covered the walls. Then Raj saw something that made his breath catch. A machine. It stood in the center of a large room. Wires stuck out from its sides. Lights blinked slowly like it was trying to wake up. He walked over. "This thing is still alive," he said. Karen came closer. "Can you turn it on?" she asked. Raj studied the controls. "I can try," he said. "But I don't know what it will do." He pressed a button. The machine hummed. Lights flashed. A screen woke up with symbols none of them could read. Then came a voice. It was low. Cold. Not human. None of them spoke. The voice repeated. This time, Karen stepped forward. "I don't understand you," she said softly, "but we mean no harm." Silence. Then the screen changed. It showed images. Maps, maybe? Or records. One image caught Maggie's eye. It looked like this planet, but with lines across it. Like grids. "They mapped this place," she said. "They studied it." Karen looked at the others. "If they studied it," she said, "then maybe they also left warnings." Raj kept working. "This thing is ancient," he said, "but it's still running. That means power." He pointed to a pipe going into the floor. "That's our clue," he said. "There's more down there." Karen thought hard. "We need to follow it," she said. "See where it leads." They followed the pipe deeper into the ruins. They went through dark hallways. Some doors were sealed shut. Others creaked open with dust and age. Finally, they reached a large door. It was smooth. No handles. No buttons. Just metal. Karen looked at Raj. "You got us this far," she said. "Can you open it?" He smiled. "Give me a minute." He examined the edges of the door. There has to be a way, he muttered. Then he saw it, a small panel hidden in the wall. He pressed it. The door rumbled. With a hiss, it slid open. Darkness waited inside. They turned on their flashlights. They stepped in. What they found made them stop. It was a room full of machines, big ones. They lined the walls like soldiers. Some were broken. Others still pulsed with soft lights. In the center stood a huge console. Karen approached it. This must have been the main control, she said. Raj looked around. This whole place is a base, he said. Or maybe a lab. Maggie looked nervous. What kind of lab? No one answered. They spent hours exploring. They found storage rooms filled with tools and devices. Some were shaped like weapons. Others looked like tools. Raj tried to connect a scanner to the system. After some effort, he managed to pull up data. It was mostly in a language they couldn't read, but then, on the screen, came something familiar. Picture of Terra Gigas, and then another picture, of Earth. Everyone froze. Karen stepped closer. They knew about us, she whispered. Liam looked at her. How? She shook her head. I don't know, she said. But someone watched us, maybe even tested us. Maggie frowned. If they did, she said, then why leave all this behind? That question hung in the air. Then Raj shouted, Hey, you, guys better see this. They ran to him. He was pointing at a screen. It showed movement under the planet. Something was still active underground. Karen stared. They're not gone, she said. Something's still here. Back at camp they talked late into the night. We found proof, Karen said. Someone else was here long ago. Liam looked serious. And if they were studying this planet, he said, maybe they left something dangerous behind. Raj rubbed his chin. I think this place is more than just a lab, he said. It might have been a test site. Maggie looked worried. A test for what? No one answered. Evan broke the silence. So what now? He asked. Karen looked at each of them. We learn everything we can, she said. From that ruin. If there's a way to survive here longer, or even leave this planet, it's in that place. Liam nodded. But we go carefully, he said. We don't know what else is awake down there. Karen looked toward the dark forest. We've made contact, she said. Not with people, but with the past. She closed her journal. Outside, the wind blew through the trees. They were still alone. But now they weren't just surviving. They were discovering, and they were ready to learn more. The wind blew hard that morning. Clouds rolled across the sky like smoke. The trees swayed. Leaves fell in slow spirals. Karen stood at the edge of camp, looking toward the forest. She held her journal. Her fingers were cold. Something's wrong, she whispered. Liam walked up beside her. What do you mean? He asked. Karen didn't answer right away. She looked at the trees, then at the ground. The air felt different. Heavy. I don't know, she said, but I can feel it. Behind them, Raj was working on an old scanner they had found in the ruins. He tapped buttons, trying to make sense of the alien symbols. Maggie sat nearby, studying a plant she had brought back. She frowned as its leaves curled toward her. Evan was cleaning tools by the fire. They were all tired. They had been exploring the ruins for days, learning, collecting data, trying to understand what the old civilization had left behind. But now, something had changed. That night the ground shook, not hard but enough to wake them up. Raj sat up fast. Did anyone else feel that? Karen nodded. Yeah, she said. Liam stepped outside. The wind was louder now. The trees creaked like old wood. Then came a sound none of them recognized. It was deep, like thunder but slower, rumbling from far below. Karen grabbed her flashlight. We need to go back to the ruins, she said. Raj looked worried. You think it has something to do with that place? He asked. Karen met his eyes. I don't know, she said, but we have to find out. They moved quickly through the forest. The path was muddy from last night's rain. Branches hung low, vines blocked their way. As they walked, the shaking grew stronger. Small rocks rolled down hillsides. Birds flew away in panic. Maggie stumbled. "This doesn't feel natural," she said. "No," Raj agreed. "It doesn't." They reached the ruins just before sunset. The entrance still stood, half buried under vines. The stone walls looked darker than before. Karen led the way inside. The machines that had been silent for days were now glowing. Lights blinked, wires sparked, fans hummed. Something was awake. Raj stepped forward. "This isn't normal," he said. "Something turned these systems back on." He ran his hand over a panel. "It's drawing power again." Karen looked around. "From where?" Raj pointed down. "There's a shaft here," he said. "Leads to the lower levels." Karen knelt. Beside it, a draft of warm air rose from below. Whatever was down there, it was alive, and it was moving. They followed the shaft deeper into the ruins. The hallway narrowed. The walls pulsed with soft blue light. Then they saw it. A machine stood in the center of a large room. It was tall, like a tower. Wires connected it to the walls. Strange symbols glowed on its surface. It was humming. Raj approached slowly. "This is it," he said. "This is the core." Karen stepped closer. "Can you shut it down?" Raj looked unsure. "I can try," he said. "But I don't know what it'll do when it shuts off." Liam kept watch. "We don't have much time," he said. "Whatever this thing is doing, it's making the planet shake." Maggie looked at her plant samples. "Their behavior changed too," she said. "Some are vibrating, like they're reacting to something." Karen took a deep breath. "Do it, Raj." He pressed a button. The machine shuddered, lights flickered. Beeps rang through the room. Then silence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the wall behind them opened. Metal slid away, revealing a new passage. Darkness waited beyond. Karen stepped forward. "Let's see what's waiting for us." Inside, the air was colder. The room stretched far. Buttons lined the walls. A huge screen stood at the end. It lit up as they entered. Symbols scrolled across it. Then came a voice. Not in human language, but not random noise either. Raj stared at the screen. This looks like a message." Karen stepped closer. "Can you translate it?" Raj shook his head. "Not exactly, but I can run it through the scanner." He pulled out a small device and connected it to the system. After a few seconds, the translation began. "Warning," the voice said in broken English. "Unauthorized life detected." Everyone froze. Karen swallowed. "That doesn't sound good," the voice continued. "Planetary defense protocol initiated." A siren blared. Red lights flashed. Alarms screamed. Then the floor trembled again. This time, it wasn't just shaking. Something was waking up. They ran. Back through the halls. Up, the stairs past the machines. Behind them, metal doors slammed open. Lights turned red. Raj shouted, "We triggered something." Karen pushed the group faster. "We need to get out of here." They burst into the main hall, gasping for air. Outside, the sky was dark. Above them, shapes appeared in the clouds. Drones. Hundreds of them. They hovered like insects, scanning the land. Then beams of red light shot down. One hit the ground near Maggie. She jumped back. "They're targeting us," she shouted. Liam grabbed her arm. "Move!" They ran through the forest, dodging falling branches. More drones arrived. They fired bursts of energy into the trees, sending dirt flying. Karen ducked behind a rock. "We can't keep running," she yelled. Raj looked at his scanner. "These things are controlled by the core," he said. "If we disable it, maybe we can stop them." Karen nodded. "Then let's go back." They turned around. Toward danger. Toward the unknown. They returned to the ruins. The machines were fully active now. Lights burned bright. Alarms screamed. Raj worked fast. "I can overload the core," he said. "But I need time." Karen looked at Liam. "Buy him that time." Liam nodded. Got it. He and Evan set traps near the entrance. They used wires and metal parts to create trip lines. When the first drone entered, it triggered the trap. Sparks flew. The drone exploded. More came. They fought. Karen stood beside Raj. How long? Few minutes, he said. Maybe less. The drones kept coming. Liam fired a makeshift spear. Megan dodged attacks. Evan used a tool like a club. Karen watched the screen. The message changed. Threat level, high. Then came a final line. Elimination. Required. Karen's heart pounded. Hurry, Raj. He typed faster. Almost there. Then the screen went black. The lights dimmed. Silence. The drones stopped mid-air, then fell. One by one, they crashed to the ground. It was over. Karen looked at Raj. You did it. He smiled, tired but proud. We're safe, for now. The days after the attack were quiet. The forest was still. The sky was clear. No more drones flew above. No more red lights scanned the trees. Karen sat by the fire one morning, watching the smoke rise into the air. It had been over a week since they shut down the alien core. The machines in the ruins had gone dark again. Whatever defense system had been protecting Terra Gigas was no longer active. They were safe. For now. Liam walked up beside her. You thinking about what comes next? He asked. Karen nodded. We made it this far, she said. But we can't just sit here forever. Liam looked out over the camp. I know, he said. We need to keep moving forward. Behind them, Raj was working on an old radio. He had been trying to fix it for days. He had connected it to the small generator they had saved from the storm. Now it buzzed softly. Then came a sound none of them expected. Static. Then, words. Faint. Broken. But real. This is Earth Command. Do you read? Raj dropped his tools. Everyone ran over. Karen grabbed the radio. This is Commander Karen Blake, she said. We read you. There was silence. Then, repeat. Who is this? Karen smiled. We are survivors of the Starhawk, she said. We're alive. We're on Terra Gigas. More static. Then came the best words they had heard in months. Copy that, Starhawk. We are sending help. That night they celebrated, not with music or dancing, but with warmth. They sat by the fire, passing around food. They talked, laughed, shared stories. Maggie held her plant journal like it was gold. I think I figured out how some of these plants work, she said. They could be useful back on Earth. Raj tapped his scanner. And I got data from the ruins, he said. If we send it home, scientists will go crazy. Evan leaned back. Well, he said, I guess we're not just survivors anymore. Liam raised his cup. To us, he said. The only humans crazy enough to survive a planet this huge. They all raised their cups. To us. In the weeks that followed, they prepared for rescue. They built better shelters. They grew more food. They cleaned up the wreckage of the Starhawk and marked the landing site with bright cloth so the rescue ship could find them. Karen kept writing in her journal every night. Day 97, she wrote. We sent a signal. Earth answered. Rescue is coming. She paused. But part of me wonders, do we want to leave? She looked outside. The forest stretched far. The mountains stood tall. The sky was wide. This place had tried to kill them. But it had also changed them, made them stronger, made them something new. One afternoon, Maggie came to Karen with a question. What if we stay? She asked. Karen looked at her. You mean here? Maggie nodded. Yes, she said. We've learned how to live here. We've studied the land, the plants, even the ruins. What if we don't leave right away? Karen thought about it. It was a big idea. They had suffered here, fought here, lost things, but they had also built something, a home, a future. Karen smiled. We'll talk to the others, she said. So they did. Liam liked the idea. I'm in, he said. Someone has to make sure this place doesn't eat us alive. Raj grinned. I'd love to learn more about that tech, he said. There's still so much we don't understand. Evan shrugged. As long as I have clean water and good snacks, he said. I'm fine either way. Only Karen was unsure. She had always dreamed of going home, of seeing Earth again, of walking through cities and breathing fresh air. But now she wasn't so sure. When the rescue ship finally arrived, it was huge. It landed in the clearing where the Starhawk had crashed. Dust flew, trees shook, the hatch opened, people stepped out. Scientists, doctors, engineers. They stared at the survivors. Karen stepped forward. Welcome to Terra Gigas, she said. One of the rescuers looked around. This place, it's massive. Karen smiled. That's why we survived, she said. Only humans could do it. The rescuers helped load supplies onto the ship. They checked everyone's health. They took notes. Then came the question. Are you all coming? Back with us? There was silence, then Karen spoke. No, she said, not all of us. Liam stepped forward. I'm staying, he said. Raj nodded. Me too. Maggie smiled. I want to learn more about this world. Even Evan sighed. I guess I'll stick around too. Someone's got to keep you idiots alive. Karen turned to the rescuers. Take our notes, she said. Our samples, our maps, send them back to Earth. The rescuer nodded. And you? Karen looked toward the forest. I'm not ready to leave, she said. Time passed. The rescue ship left. The survivors stayed behind. They built more shelters. They expanded their garden. They explored deeper into the forest. They found more ruins, more machines, more secrets, and they sent messages, short ones, sent through the repaired radio. Each one carried a single message. Surviving a planet this huge, only humans could do it. And back on Earth, people read those words. They smiled. They cheered. Because they knew. Humans had done it again. They had gone into the unknown. They had faced danger. And they had not only survived, they had thrived.